Welcome to the But First Bible Daily Devotional Podcast with Dave Myers. Our readings for today are 1 Samuel chapters 17 to 18 and Luke chapter 15 verse 1 to 10. Well, today we read one of the most well-known stories in the Bible, the account of the battle between David and Goliath. Now, this story has had such an impact on our society that long after people know that the story originated in the Bible, the phrase David versus Goliath is used anytime a little guy goes against the odds and defeats a larger, more formidable opponent. While reading 1 Samuel 17, I was struck by the detail given to explain just how formidable Goliath is as an opponent. Look at Goliath's challenge to the people of Israel in 1 Samuel chapter 17, beginning at verse 8. He stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Why have you come out to draw up for battle? Am I not a Philistine? And are you not servants of Saul? Choose a man for yourselves and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight with me and kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then you shall be our servants and serve us." And the Philistine said, "I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together." And when Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Saul and all Israel are terrified of Goliath. Now, what basically happens next is that when David hears the taunts of Goliath, he says, "How dare someone defy the armies of the living God?" And so when all Israel want to back down, David wants to stand up. David knows that the Lord is with his people and that there is no reason to be afraid. And so he is able to stare down Goliath in battle and say, in chapter 17, beginning at verse 45, "You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head, and I will give the dead bodies of the host of the Philistines this day to the birds of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that the Lord saves, not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand." And then they fight. David wins. Goliath dies. A new hero emerges among Israel. Now, what do we do with this story? Well, over the years, many Bible believers have been encouraged to have faith like David, trusting that God is with them and that you too can defeat the Goliaths in your life. Now, while we ought to trust God in all circumstances, absolutely, is this the primary application of this text? Who are we supposed to identify with in this story? Well, first and foremost, we are not David. We are not the hero of this story. We are more like Israel, afraid, looking on from a distance as someone fights on our behalf. And so who is David? Well, he is the Jesus-like figure. Jesus is our champion. He has gone before us while we look on from a distance. He has defeated our greatest enemies, sin, Satan, and death. The battle belongs to the Lord Jesus. He wins on our behalf. Our response is to trust in him and what he has already done to fight for our salvation through his death and resurrection. Let me conclude with Colossians chapter 2, beginning at verse 13. "And you, who were dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, God made alive together with him, having forgiven us all our trespasses, by cancelling the record of debt that stood against us with its legal demands. This he set aside, nailing it to the cross. He disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them in him." Until tomorrow, keep trusting Jesus.